Hi guys, welcome to another card trick here at Totally Magic channel. Got a good one for you today. It's a recent card trick idea that I came up with. It hasn't been fully tested or completed, but I wanted to share it with you before I forget all about it. So here it is. Now, although the routine will seem a little bit long-winded, remember I'm having to act on behalf of me and the spectator. It goes a lot quicker and flows a lot better when you've got another spectator to help you do everything. Okay, so do bear that in mind. Without further ado, let's get on with the performance. Synchronism, a word that you may not have heard that often, but it means the coming together of two objects, two minds in sync. We're going to demonstrate that with two decks of cards. Now, a deck of cards, although the cards all have the same images on, the backs are different. In this case, these are red backed and these are what we call blue back cards. And if I mix these up, there's no synchronization between this deck and the red one. I want you to give me one of these, red or blue. Blue, okay. If you can grab hold of the red, I'd like you to pick up the cards and deal the shuffled deck onto the table, one card at a time, but no rushing. Just deal them slowly and deliberately and stop and concentrate on the card and see if it means anything to you. Okay, don't deal them face up, because that will influence your choice. So deal them face down and concentrate, and then when you feel something, stop at that point and that'll be your card. Okay, so if you'd like to do that, you're stopping there. You're happy there. What I'd like you to do, let me take these, just have a peek at that card. Have a look at it and remember it. Commit that to your memory, just put it back. Now remember, you were dealing the cards, not me. The cards were shuffled. You stopped at a card. It could have been this one, or it could have been this one, or this one, this one. You had an absolute free choice of any card in the pack. Yeah. Everything fair? Now, we're going to mix the cards up together to keep them in sync. But we want to make sure there's no way that you or me could know where your chosen card is. But just remember it. Remember your card. What I'd like you to do is, can you cut your cards in half like that? Can you then cut this in half and put it there? And I'll do likewise. I cut the cards, and to make it fair, let's cut each other's cards. You cut my cards and I'll cut your cards. What I'd like you to do is, from your 4 packets, choose any 2. It doesn't matter which 2, and just shuffle them together like that. And do the same with the remaining 2. Pick any 2 packets. It doesn't matter what 2 packets. Push them together, and this one as well. That looks pretty good to me. Finally, we're going to shuffle each other's cards. So I'm going to shuffle your cards and you shuffle mine, just to prove that there's no way that we could be knowing where any cards are in these packs. But remember, we are doing it together in sync. I want you to think of your card, and I want you to let me know not the value or the suit or the colour. I just want to know, did you pick a spot card or a picture card? What was it? And whichever one you say, if it was a spot card, I'm going to remove all the spot cards to the table. What was it? It was a picture card. Okay, so I'm going to go through and remove all the picture cards from the pack. Now, because we shuffled these, just bear with me. If you see me miss a card, let me know. But I think I'm getting all of the picture cards. Let's just have a look. Yep, that's all of the picture cards there. I said I'm going to choose a card out of all of these, but I want you to concentrate on the image of that card that you chose earlier that's now lost in your pack. Don't tell me what it is. You see, our minds are synchronizing. I'm getting a feeling for that one. Out of all of these, this is the one that means something to me. I want you now to take your shuffled cards, and can you deal them face up on the table, and when you come to a picture card, just deal it to one side. And when you come to your chosen card, can you stop dealing and remove the picture cards, as I did in sync. And it looks like you've done a pretty good job of mixing these up. Right, you've stopped there. So I'm assuming that the King of Clubs is the card that you chose. Are there any more picture cards in here? Let's just see. Yep, we've got a few more. Oh, there's one there. But out of all of these picture cards, you felt something for the King of Clubs. Now, I chose mine before you revealed that. You're not going to believe this, but maybe our minds were in sync, because I too picked the King. A perfect matching pair. But synchronism goes beyond just singular occurrences. You see, we didn't just sync one pair of cards. If we take a look, despite the shuffling of the decks, these match as well. Two red kings, red jacks, black kings, black queens, and as we go through every single card, even though we both shuffled the decks, we cut them and mixed them, we have perfect synchronization. So is synchronism magic or myth? You decide. Practice and enjoy. So here is the tutorial for synchronism. Now, I think this is a really good trick that you could build on. What I performed for you is just a basic routine, and it's not perfect because it was only a few days that I came up with this. In fact, I've only performed this 3 times on 3 groups of people. In my local bar, on the first night of doing this, I performed it in front of about 4 or 5 people in the bar. I also performed it to a gathering of my family at the weekend just gone, and I also performed it to 2 magicians who are members of my local magic club, and they actually quite liked it. It does need a bit of refining, but I'm sure, as usual, you guys can add your own little magical touch and routine to it, and you can turn this into a fantastic effect. Let's just go through the routine. I thought it was interesting because using 2 decks of cards, they appear to be shuffled. The spectator handles the cards, so it's almost like he hasn't been forced a card. He picks any card. You happen to pick the same one. Not only that, but all of the picture cards, because he picked a picture card, all synchronized together. That was the premise of the routine that I thought about. So let's just go through the routine and I'll explain the different parts of this. You do need 2 decks of cards and you do need a stack. Now, what I've got are all of the picture cards from the red deck, And I've also got all of the picture cards from the blue deck. Now the order is neither here nor there. Just jumble them up, shuffle them up on there. So here we've got an order of cards. Jack of clubs, king of hearts, queen of spades. Same here. Okay, that's the only setup. Now, because of the shuffle that I do at the beginning, I reverse these blue backed cards. By the way, the blue backed deck is the one that I'm going to use. I put these on top. I then take the other stack and put that on top of the red deck. Okay, now at the start I do a shuffle. I tend to just shuffle face up initially and then put these back to the top. You don't want to disturb the order of those. Again, if you know a different method for doing full shuffles and cuts, as long as you keep all the picture cards on top, do whatever shuffle you want. On this one, the stack needs to be at the bottom. Now the reason I start with them on the top in the reverse order is because as I shuffled these, I was basically shuffling individual cards to reverse their order. As long as I went past the 12 picture cards, then I can just do any type of shuffle like that. The bottom line is I've got identical order of cards at the bottom. That's it. Now we get on with the routine. The spectator takes the pack. They deal the cards down. Now they've only got 12 to choose from. You don't want them to go beyond the 12. And this is where management comes in with handling people. You say, pick up the cards, and you can demonstrate this because your top cards are regular. So you can say, look, this is what I want you to do. Deal the cards not face up. And what you're doing here is showing that they are random cards. Deal them face down, but slowly and deliberately. You've got to concentrate on the card that you want. So as you deal a card down, stare at it and see if it means anything to you. Now trust me, people will get bored. They're not going to go through 52 cards. Once they've done half a dozen of these, they'll just get bored and say, yeah, that's the one. That's it. Okay, so just put those back on top. They deal the cards. Okay, now in the times that I've delivered this, the 3 times that I've performed this, most people stop literally 5 or 6 cards in. All you're doing when you watch them deal these down, you're going to count them. That's all. So if he stopped here, in my head I was watching him and I've counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all I've got to remember. 5. That's the magic number. 5. So they're going to peek at this card, which happens to be the king of clubs. So that's their chosen card. What I do is I take the cards from them and I deal a few more cards. I'm trying to get past 12. It doesn't really matter if I do show another picture. I say, or you could have had this one, or this one, or this one, or this. And I deal randomly a few cards just to show that they could have had any card, which they believe because you did shuffle the cards at the start. The stack is now at the bottom, the same as yours. Okay. So we've now got the stack at the bottom, but theirs is reversed to yours. Now the next part is you're going to say, we're going to mix up your chosen card. We're going to lose it, but in a way that is going to make it impossible for me or you to know where it is. Now all you do is you demonstrate with your pack and they will mimic. You cut half the pack and they cut half the pack. You then say, cut this in half again. That's the top half. Okay. And I'm going to cut the bottom half of mine. Now, why am I doing this? Well, because at the bottom are my 12 stacked cards. And I want to make sure that I don't cut into those. So I'm going to take just a few cards. You can see that's not even. but I've definitely got more than 12 cards here. That's all I'm worried about. And I put those there. Then you'll notice I said, well, let's cut each other's cards. You cut my top half. Now, even if the spectator does this badly, there's no stack in there. Our picture cards aren't there. So I couldn't care less if he does the worst cut in the world. Like that. The reason I'm going to cut his bottom half and not him is because I, again, want to do the same as me. I don't want to disturb the stack of 12 cards at the bottom. So I deliberately take fewer cards here. So I've definitely got more cards here, so I haven't disturbed the stack there. It's just a safety net, okay? I don't want them cutting those. The next part really is random. This really convinces them that it's getting shuffled up. Now, you do want to find someone that can do a riffle shuffle. If they can't, then you shuffle them for them, but they get to choose. So you take any two halves and you riffle them together. Doesn't have to be perfect. And do the other two on here. And leave them like that. Now, ask a spectator, can you riffle shuffle? If they say yes, then say pick any two halves. They can pick any two halves they like and shuffle them together. If, however, they can't, then you shuffle them for them. But they choose which packets. Square them up. At this stage, we say, I'll tell you what, you can shuffle mine together and I'll shuffle yours. That way, we know that there's no cheating. And so I will come over and I want to do a good shuffle. This is why I want to do their shuffle, is because I want their picture cards definitely spread out. If a spectator shuffles these and drops a big block down, it's not going to look too impressive at the end because all of the picture cards will be bunched together. So by me doing theirs, I make sure it's a pretty good shuffle like that, and I spread them. They will then shuffle these again. If they can't, then you do it for them, but you are showing them that they're mixed up, which is a real convincer on there. Now, the magicians among us, which I hope is all of you, will know that when you riffle shuffle or faro shuffle a deck with a stack, the stack doesn't really get mixed up. So our cards, our picture cards, are actually still in order. We push these together, bring these up like that. And now you're going to go through the cards. Now they're pretty mixed up. However, they are in the correct order for you to remove these. And in doing so, oh, by the way, you say to them, just tell me, is it a picture card or a spot card? At this point, they think, oh, well, maybe I could have picked a spot card. And you tell them in advance, I'm going to remove all those cards. So if you chose a spot card, I'm going to remove all the spot cards. If it's a picture card, I'm going to remove all of those. So they're obviously going to say a picture. So you go through removing the picture cards face up. Now what you're actually doing is you're reversing the order of the picture cards. Okay, and there's no more in there. Now what this does is it makes it easy. Remember that magic number we remembered when we was counting how many cards they dealt down and stopped at was 5. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know that the card that they chose is the King of Clubs. That's it. It's automatic. So now I know that, I'll spread the cards and say to them, concentrate on your card, and then I'm going to remove the card and put it face down. The rest of the cards, just for dramatic appearance, I like to spread them like this. And I put that on there. You then ask the spectator to go through their shuffled cards. Keep saying that because it convinces them even more that they've shuffled and shuffled and shuffled. Deal them face up. And if you come to a picture card, just put it in front of you. And when you come to your card, stop. Now they will begin to deal the cards. And then as soon as they come to a picture card, and as we go through here, there's the first one. second one, the third, and now drill down and can see how mixed up these are. So you don't want a whole bunch of picture cards to come up together, but they're going through all of the cards. Now the good thing about this, and now stop here. Now what you'll do is you'll take the card, you'll say, let's just see if there's any other cards. Just push that to one side. Let's just see if there's any more. And as you go through, you just remove the other picture cards like that. Now the beauty of this is because you've now got your cards turned face down, people would have forgotten all about those. Remember, their focus is on these two because they don't know what's coming next. So once you've got rid of these cards, you turn these over and I spread them and I just put their card there, and then I recap on the impossibility and the synchronization of our minds. They chose this card. Believe it or not, the card that I chose just happens to be the same. We're in sync. But the real kicker here is when you say, actually, there's more than just one pair of cards in sync. We have another pair of cards in sync. Not only that, but these as well, and these. And this is really impressive as you turn over all of these in pairs on there. And of course, if they're chosen the spot cards, they're not in any order whatsoever. So that's it. I think it's actually quite a good idea for a trick. It does need a little bit of polishing on the routine and the handling, but I wanted to share this with you because knowing me, I'll forget all about it and not get it on video. So I thought I'd record it immediately, share it with you, see what you come up with. If you come up with a great idea or just pinching a couple of ideas from it, let us know in the comments. We really do appreciate that. Till next time, practice and enjoy.